do not intend to seek employment as a lobbyist or sit on the board of a defense contractor like Raytheon after my service. Quite frankly, I'll be too old to sit on a board of a defense contractor after my service. But I have no intent to be a lobbyist as well.
All right. Well, I just want you to know I really do appreciate that, General.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sentinel. Today I've got an interesting development, something that we've talked about in the past. Senator Elizabeth Warren and Senator Rick Scott are slamming Lloyd Austin, if you remember, General Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. Lloyd Austin, the guy overall responsible for the Kabul withdrawal, because he started a new consulting firm. And the issue is, quite frankly, this. Because when he was nominated, he made a clear promise during the nomination to uphold the public trust. So what Austin has done, he started a consulting firm in Washington, D.C. called the Clarion Strategies. And part of Clarion Strategies are several senior Pentagon aides and Biden officials. This just smacks of corruption in my mind. The reason being is, in less than 6 months after leaving his role as the Secretary of Defense, he's basically gone through the revolving door and he's began cashing in on his public service. And it just boggles my mind that we've got general officers doing shit like this. They basically come out of the Pentagon and they go straight working for the defense contractors, or they set up these lobby firms or consulting firms to make the big money. Now, keep in mind, a 4-star general probably rakes in about $200,000 in pension for life. On top of that, they all go and get disability. And generally after, 35, 40 years of service, you can get upwards of 80, 90, 100% disability. So that's a serious chunk of money that these guys are already making. But they're greedy. And, they can smell the pork and the bacon. And they go join these firms to make more money. And then in the back of it, they encourage more wars for profit. So I just find this an abomination that he would do that. Although, Austin's spokesperson said that the former defense chief will continue to uphold the highest ethical standards as he's done throughout his career, and will abide by all relevant post-government restrictions. The problem is this: the restrictions aren't strict enough. So Senator Warren in 2023 introduced the Department of Defense Ethics and Anti-Corruption Act, which would forbid major defense contractors from hiring Pentagon officials and former DOD employees who managed their contracts for a period of 4 years after they leave office. And Warren's spokesperson said she's going to make a renewed push on this issue in the coming months. And I hope she does, because these are serious questions that need to be raised. Because if you remember, Austin, prior to being the Secretary of Defense, started the Austin Strategy Group. And he worked on a defense-focused investment firm called the Pine Island Capital. And he's also on the board of Raytheon. Now, many of us wrongly assumed that he's going to leave and go back to Raytheon. Well, he didn't. He did better, right? So he started his own company, and he's going to make more money. And but we rightly assume that he's going to go back in the defense sector. And this is fundamentally wrong. We've talked about this before. I've done several episodes on it. We've got several senior generals out there that are on the boards of these companies. The first one that comes to mind is Joe Dunford. He's sitting on the board of Lockheed Martin. The next one that comes to mind is James Mattis, sitting on the board of General Dynamics. And the other one is Petraeus, that's sitting as chairman of KKR, a multi-billion-dollar company investment house that's got investments in a lot of defense firms. So these are just the top layer, okay? There's many more underneath them that we could spend days searching for. Now, listen, I don't have an issue with somebody going out and feeding his family, but there's got to be restriction and boundaries put in place, because what happens is a lot of these guys still have inside tracks. Because if you remember, as a 4-star general, he knows the colonels and the brigadiers that he helped promote to that rank, and they're going to be in service for the next decade. So he's got tentacles going all the way down for the next decade within the Pentagon and the DOD. He knows about future programs. He knows about budgets. He knows about operational plans, which way they're headed, and what are the needs and requirements of the military. And that's inside information. And that's why these big companies hire these generals for access. That's the main reason they get them for. And these generals make some serious coin. I know firsthand some of the generals, I won't take any names, were upwards of making $500,000 plus, traveling first class and whatnot. So I applaud Senator Warren, and I applaud Senator Scott. We got to put an end to this madness. And I don't give a shit which side of the aisle you sit on, Republican, Democrat, whatever. One set of rules that applies to everybody. And we need to stop this corruption in our government. The politicians are corrupt. We got generals that are corrupt. And we got government institutions that are corrupt. And I hope, President Trump continues to take a hatchet to this thing and fixes this problem before the midterms roll around. Because once the midterm rolls around, who knows who's going to have Congress. That may change the equation. The American people want to hold them accountable. And the people, as we can see the voices of the people raising as we continue down this road. And that's one of the purposes for Sentinel, is to be on the lookout for things like this and to ensure accountability for senior officers and our politicians and our leadership. And the country needs it. Somebody needs to do it because it ain't happening right now too well. So in closing, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. It's an important one. This is where the corruption starts in the military, and this is why we've got so many officers trying to pin on the stars. Because, I was told one time, this is many years back, that every star is worth $100,000 when you get out of the military in salaries. It's probably doubled that. So a 4-star general with all these board seats and stuff is probably making, $800 to $1 million a year. And we got to put an end to this nonsense. These generals are well taken care of. The retirement is fantastic. If I can make it on a lieutenant colonel's retirement, they can sure as hell make it on a general officer's retirement. I feel sorry for nobody. That's all I got. Stay rugged. Stay united. Con out.